Okay, folks, we're back now at 32nd and Place. We're going to be talking to Lieutenant Andrew Beightel with the Topeka Police here momentarily. He's going to give us an update on what's transpired here today. Real quick intro, about 3 o'clock this morning, officers were on patrol in this area of Briarwood near Southwest 33rd and McVicker, where they found a man who was walking up the street. There were some questions to what the man was doing, in as much as officers had been looking for people who might have been breaking the cars in the area. They were on patrol for that specific purpose. When officers turned around to try to talk to this man, he took off running. Officers then found
your first and last name and give us a title and position.
Okay. My name's Lieutenant Andrew Beightel with the Topeka Police Department. Last name is Beightel.
So what happened?
Basically, what happened initially, around 3 a.m. this morning, officers with our Community Police Division were conducting a proactive, focused assignment about car burglaries in the area. This area has been getting hit with car burglars quite a bit, so officers were kind of just patrolling the area. They saw a suspect that they saw walking down the street, was acting kind of strange. The initial officer turned around on him, but that suspect then fled into the neighborhood. Other officers then located the same suspect running into the apartment complex behind us. And as other officers tried to approach him and basically found out what he's doing, he turned around and shot gun shots at the officers. Again, that was at around 3 a.m. this morning. As officers did return fire on that incident, and in that situation, we do lock down the area and have a crime scene, call in other agencies to help investigate this situation and the incident. While we were doing that, around 9:45 this morning, on the south end of our crime scene, over here on McVicker, a gentleman made himself known. Officers tried to make contact with that gentleman. He was evasive about what he was doing, and when the officers tried to place him in handcuffs, he took off and fled from officers then. He then jumped the fence behind us at the south end of the apartment complex, produced a handgun, and at that time officers did have to fire their weapons again, and struck the suspect a few times, and AMR was called immediately to come provide aid.
What's his condition like at this time?
Last known was stable, non-life-threatening at this time. We did notify the school as soon as Jordan Middle School and the elementary school. As soon as the suspect started running, we did notify them to have the school put on lockdown. So.
And are they still on lockdown?
At this time, I don't know.
Do you think this person now is the same person that had been sought earlier today that got wounded eventually around 9:45? We don't know yet.
It could be, but I want to make sure the facts are what they are, and I can't comment on that quite yet. I don't know if it is the person, but we will be investigating that.
Why do you think he came and made himself known to officers down there at the south end? Was that like in the 3200 block in McVicker, down by where the crime scene tape was at the south end? Do you know where he came from at that point?
I do not know. The investigation's ongoing, so we're going to find out that a little bit later.
Now the dogs had worked that area. This is behind the houses here. Is that where he made himself known?
No, he made himself known to the officers that were in the middle of McVicker, on the crime scene on the south end of it. So
he just walked up and said, "Here I am."
No, I don't know what he said, but that's where the initial officers had contact with him on this incident.
As he was walking up, or right, he wasn't hidden and you guys spotted him. He was walking up to the officers, and then he took off running again. Is that what it was?
Yes.
But the officers, Lieutenant Beightel, they tried to put him in handcuffs because they must have had reason to believe he was wanted for something at that point. Some
information that will release later, and his evasive behavior. they were going to detain him to find out for some further information.
Had they gotten the cuffs on him, or did he
No.
just break free and take off?
He just broke free and took off.
We always talk about suicide by cops. Is this starting to sound like one of those?
At this time, it's unknown. We'll be interviewing the suspect and seeing what his intentions were if he decides to talk to us.
Did they recover a weapon from this person after he was wounded by officers?
Yes. Officers did recover a handgun from the scene over here.
Did they think it's the same one they used earlier when the guy was shooting at the officers this morning?
Again, unknown, but we will be testing that.
How many times did the officer shoot over there?
We, again, at this time, I don't know the exact number, but we can release that later on.
Now, are the people in these houses that are blocked off, are they, do they have to stay inside their house until you guys leave?
No,
or,
if somebody's residence is inside the crime scene, we do have an officer escort them in and out. That way we can control the chain of custody and make sure that the scene does not get contaminated.
Say this last time that when he jumped the fence and he turned back, he pointed the weapon. Did he fire his weapon at the officers that time, or do we know?
Again, at this time, I don't know. I wasn't able to speak with the officers that were actually on scene yet.
We don't know how many times or where he was hit by officers' bullets?
Correct.
Okay.
You guys weren't actively looking for him at the time. You assumed the area had been searched and that was it? You were just processing the scene? Is that kind of what was going on at the time?
We always actively were looking for him, but we didn't know that a subject, and again, I'm not 100% sure. I can't confirm if that is the same subject, but he just made himself known at the south end of the crime scene.
What was in his backpack? Did we figure that one out yet?
Don't know yet.
Had there been break-ins tonight that you were aware, or last night, to get you guys to come out?
I know that there was at least one car burglary in a vehicle in the complex behind us. And I was in the process of checking other stats when this second thing came out.
In the community police, that's just something that you guys do on your own? Like, you guys were just circling around looking?
Yeah, the community police officers, when there is a situation or a uptick in crime in a certain community, that unit organizes and deploys to try to combat that crime situation.
So how many officers have shot their weapons overnight and this morning, would you say, total?
3 officers on this current incident and then 2 officers on the one prior to this, so a total of 5.
And shots total number, do we know?
Unknown
total
at this
yet?
time.
And are all of those being placed on administrative leave?
Yes. Per our procedure and normal routine stuff, all officers that did fire the weapons will be on administrative leave until the KBI and or other agencies can do a investigation on the incidents.
5 officers total?
Yes.
Okay.
No injuries?
No injuries to the officers. The injuries to the suspect, again, did not appear to be life-threatening when I saw them.
Let me ask you again real quick so I know. So this happened on the south end of the crime scene in the middle of the 3200 block in McVicker. The suspect, after he broke free from the officers, he went to the west and jumped over a fence. Was he in somebody else's backyard at that point?
He went through a few backyards and then ended up jumping the fence on the south property line of the apartment complex behind us.
He wasn't at the. Was he ever at the middle school or the grade school?
No.
Okay.
If he was, it would be on the outskirts of the property.
And since you guys have been started the community police in this area, how many car burglaries or burglaries in general have?
I don't have those stats. Again, I was trying to look those up when this thing came out. So.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Lieutenant.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.